Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of English grammar, focusing on a tense that can truly elevate your language skills, the past perfect tense. Let's explore its form and usage together. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest language lessons. Now, let's get started. First, let's discuss the form of past perfect. The formula for the past perfect tense looks like this: subject plus, had plus past participle plus object. In the affirmative form, it is formed with had and the past participle of your main verb plus object. For example, he had finished his homework. In the negative form, it is formed with the verb had not and the past participle plus object. For example, he had not finished his homework. In the question form, it is formed with the verb hads and the subject followed by the past participle of the main verb plus object. For example, had he finished his homework? Now, we will discuss the usage of past perfect. Past perfect tense is used to describe actions that were completed before another action or a specific point in the past. The past perfect tense, with its basic meaning of earlier past, helps to clarify the sequence of events in the past, indicating which action happened first. It often appears alongside another past tense, such as the simple past tense, to show which of the two actions occurred earlier. For example, I had eaten dinner before I finished my homework. This sentence tells us that eating dinner happened before finishing homework. As shown in the timeline, we are already talking about the past which is finished and want to talk about an earlier past which is had eaten. And have this example: by the time they arrived, the movie had already started. Here, the action of the movie starting, which is past perfect tense, had started, was completed before the specific point in the past, which is when they arrived. As shown in the timeline, we are already talking about the past which is arrived and want to talk about an earlier past which is had started. Another example: they had boarded the train when I reached the station. In this sentence, the action of boarding the train, past perfect tense, had boarded, was completed before the specific point in the past, which is when I reached the station. As shown in the timeline, we are already talking about the past which is reached and want to talk about an earlier past which is had boarded. Another usage for past perfect is that the past perfect tense is used after past verbs of saying and thinking to indicate actions that occurred before the time of speaking, thinking, or communicating. This tense helps to establish the sequence of events clearly, emphasizing which action happened earlier. Here are some examples. She said that she had already eaten dinner when I called. In this sentence, the action of eating dinner, had already eaten, happened before the time of the call, when I called. He mentioned that he had visited Paris several times before moving to London. Here, the action of visiting Paris, had visited, occurred before the action of moving to London. They informed us that they had already booked the tickets before we suggested the trip. The booking of tickets, had already booked, took place prior to the suggestion of the trip. I knew she had studied medicine before switching to psychology. The action of studying medicine, had studied, happened before the decision to switch to psychology. She remembered that she had forgotten to lock the door before leaving for vacation. Forgetting to lock the door, had forgotten, preceded the departure for vacation. In each of these examples, the past perfect tense, had plus past participle, is used to denote an action that occurred before another past action or event, as relayed through speech, thought, or communication. The past perfect can be used to talk about past events that did not happen, often when used after if, wish, and would rather. These constructions express unreal or hypothetical situations in the past and convey events that did not occur but are being imagined or desired differently. Here are some examples. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. This sentence suggests that the speaker didn't study hard enough, and as a result, they didn't pass the exam. It's a hypothetical situation in the past. I wish I had traveled more when I was younger. Here, the speaker expresses regret about not traveling more in the past. They're imagining a different past where they did travel more. I'd rather we had booked the tickets earlier. Now they're too expensive. In this example, the speaker expresses a preference for a different past action, booking the tickets earlier, because now the tickets are too expensive. It's a hypothetical situation expressing regret or preference. In each of these examples, the past perfect tense, had plus past participle, is used to discuss events that didn't happen but are imagined or desired differently, typically after if, wish, or would rather. These constructions are crucial for expressing unreal or hypothetical situations in English. Past perfect is used to indicate the duration of an action, up to a specific past moment, particularly with non-progressive verbs like be, have, and know. For example, she had been a teacher before she retired. The past perfect had been indicates her previous occupation as a teacher before her retirement. Before the storm hit, they had had a picnic by the lake. Here, the past perfect had highlights the occurrence of the picnic before the storm struck. She had known him for years before they finally got married. This example demonstrates the duration of her acquaintance with him before their marriage. In each of these examples, the past perfect tense, had plus past participle, is used with non-progressive verbs like be, have, and know to indicate the duration or continuity of an action or state up to a specific past moment. The past perfect tense is used to talk about actions that happened before another action in the past. We often use it with time-related words like after, before, as soon as, and when to show the order of events clearly. We can use the past perfect with these conjunctions if we want to emphasize that the first action was separate, finished before the second started. Here are some examples. After they had eaten dinner, they watched a movie. First, they ate dinner, then they watched a movie. Before she went to bed, she had finished her homework. First, she finished her homework, then she went to bed. As soon as he had brushed his teeth, he went to sleep. First, he brushed his teeth, then he went to sleep. She called her friend as soon as she had arrived home. First, she arrived home, then she called her friend. When he had completed his work, he went for a walk. First, he completed his work, then he went for a walk. She felt relieved when she had found her lost keys. First, she found her keys, then she felt relieved. In each example, the action in the past perfect tense, had plus past participle, happened before the action in the simple past tense. This helps to emphasize the sequence of events and show that they are independent of each other. The past perfect tense can be used to express hopes, wishes, or intentions that were not fulfilled or realized. When this happens, there's often a focus on the word had to convey a sense of disappointment or regret. Here are some examples to illustrate this. She had hoped to visit her grandmother last weekend, but she fell sick. She wanted to visit her grandmother, but couldn't because she got sick. He had wished to buy that rare comic book, but someone else bought it before he could. He wanted to buy the comic book, but someone else bought it first. They had intended to finish the project by Friday, but unexpected issues arose. They planned to finish the project by Friday, but couldn't due to unforeseen problems. In each example, the use of the past perfect tense, had plus past participle, signals an action that was intended or hoped for, but did not happen as expected. The emphasis on had adds a tone of disappointment or regret, highlighting the unfulfilled nature of the hopes, wishes, or intentions. The structure, it was the first or second, that, is often followed by the past perfect tense to emphasize the significance of a particular event or occurrence in relation to previous experiences or actions. Here are some examples. It was the third time he had missed the bus this week. In this sentence, the past perfect had missed emphasizes the repetition of missing the bus and highlights the significance of this occurrence being the third time within the week. It was only the second time they had traveled abroad together. This example highlights the limited experience of traveling abroad together by using the past perfect had traveled to indicate the previous instance. It was the first time they had visited that museum. The past perfect had visited underscores the significance of this being their initial visit to the museum. In each of these examples, the past perfect tense is used to emphasize the significance of a particular event or occurrence in relation to previous experiences or actions. This construction helps to highlight the specific context or importance of the event being described. That wraps up our exploration of the past perfect tense. I hope you found this lesson informative and inspiring. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Until next time, happy learning!